Jazzcast Pros.
Greetings, Happy New Year's. Fathers, let me talk to you. Let me be real with you. Do you find yourself being irritable, mood swings, just off the chart at times? Do you find your habits or what you took for a habit increasing by the day, by the week? Do you find yourself not sleeping a lot? Are you less or more tolerant to a lot of things that you used to be? If the answer is yes, that's good. I say this because that means your spirit, your body, your mind, your emotions, it's trying to tell you enough is enough. If you're doing the same thing, expecting different results, I beg you to stop doing that. And even your body's telling you so. Last year has brought about a lot of truth within the lie. We have a lot of fathers out here doing the things for their children. And we oftentimes dismiss it because we're paying attention to the one or two who are not, or just going through it. Without judgment, without my personal bias, that's bullshit. Because whether you're doing the exact thing what is considered to be good, and whether you're doing something that's supposed to be perfect or in the media eye, a picture camera moment of a father, again, perception is reality. Perception is such a detriment to fathering. Because I can look like a father who is well providing and nurturing and whatnot, but I am abusive and wicked to the ones I love. I want to bring to light the ideal of practice, but you should not carry on to the next year, and understanding your purpose. In this episode, I want to stress about last year. To be mindful of yourself and understand the purpose in you of being a father is not because it's just you just have a title. To be a father is an honor, the highest honor a man on earth can receive. Welcome to Father Torch, the podcast to help you, the new and renewed fathers, cope with the anxiety and stress of fatherhood so that you can be the father you wish you had. I'm your host, Ra, founder of Abimelech Foundation and artist, father of 9. My mission is to help you reclaim your power and ease your concerns about being a father in today's social climate. Welcome to today's episode about last year. Last year was a beginning of many. That with a lot of depression, a lot of hopelessness, a lot of disparities, especially for men. Nothing against the women, but especially for men, because we live a double standard life. We have to be strong. We have to push down our emotions. We have to be a symbol of protection. And we have to be, the provider, right? Or whatever that's supposed to mean. Last year, again, we dealt with a lot of foolishness, a lot of ignorance. Let us take this time to change our mindset. You are a worthless piece of shit if you think the things you're doing right now, which is nothing, procrastinating and idling and thinking, is the best way to live. Meaning, if you have no set goals or no set purpose or strive to make sure that those come after you can live better than you, you are a piece of shit. If we just put that out there, you're a piece of shit. Because if your excuse is no one did it for me, so I'm not going to do it for them or whoever, they are your children. You should want to do these things. You should want them to have better because you know how you felt what you didn't have. Never mind the anger, the trauma. You know how it felt to not have that guidance, not have that teaching, that foundation. I had to look at my children's face and look at the actions and the things how they live and what they're doing in school and out of school, and look at them and see how can I curve certain things from taking place without guidance and the tools needed to combat or cope. Because let's face it, we can't protect our children from everything. There's going to be a lot of things that we ourselves are not attentive to. We're not going to know everything, but we give them the tools so they can handle majority of things. They will pick up the memento and, start to make things a reality for them. We have to allow them to live. We have to allow them to grow, but at the same time, guard them, but not helicopter over them. We have to guard them because this world is dangerous, yes, but we cannot protect them from everything. Because if we cannot help them guard their mind, because you have to teach them what it's going to be and how it's going to be when you are no longer here. You have to give them that mindset, that survival. What would you do if I could not do this? How would you go about handling these things? What is it that you're seeking that you have the power to control and to make and to, do as you will. Because the thing is, if I teach you to always look at me for the answers, then I'm doing you such an injustice. I'm going to show you and teach you how you must think for yourself, love yourself, rely on your self intuition, your foresight, your abilities to sense when something is wrong, when it's right, what is just right, and what is a hell no. We must trust their judgment. Well, I'm going to say trust their judgment with a with an armlet, sometimes even a half leg. You know your children, you know your youth, you know your young adult, because they all take after you and the mother at the same time. So if you're not observing about that and you don't see that, shame on you. But if you're aware of that, make that be. Make that be the lesson that you need to learn. Make that be the lesson that will help them determine who they are and what they're going to do. So let me just say that about last year. Last year was an emotional turmoil. Last year was greatly, greatly overwhelming. Between pandemic, the lack of respect, the empathy gone, the family structure, revealed its imperfections and tabooness of discussing mental health and discussing anything that deals with destruction or unity. Life without purpose, life without aim, guidance is meaningless. Again, about last year. Last year we have struggled. We have struggled to make ends meet. We have struggled to find the love within to love someone else. Last year, we have shed so many tears for the fallen soldiers, our youths, our fathers, our mothers, our loved ones in general. Man, we have gone through a lot, and we still gonna have to go through more. And if we don't get our shit together, we're gonna struggle even more to the point that we're gonna wish death upon us and we can't find it. Ain't nothing worse than a long, stressful suffering. And we have endured so much. We have. We were taken out of homes. We've been put on child support against all odds. We have lived a double standard life because this is what's been put upon us. We can't express ourselves only other than sexual acts and affection, which is downplayed nowadays. We can't even be nurturing to ourselves. We have no love for ourselves. We are filled with anger, disparity, and hopelessness. Everywhere around us is someone going through it. Everybody around us is going through something or doing something to go through it. We no longer stealing from Peter to feed Paul and take from Paul to feed Jeffrey. Now we're just killing everybody. We're just starving everything because it's like we don't have no more in us. I want us to know that it is not entirely true. Although there is hopelessness, there are sorrows out there being practiced. Key word, practice. If you're not practicing how to love yourself, if you're not practicing how to think for yourself and be self-sufficient, then you're wasting your time and you are due to destroy yourself because no one can last on their own. If we're not unifying, if you're not building righteously, you're not building up love and self-love and prosperity, then you're wasting your time and you are going through a slow death. We must be doing things to uplift our children and uplift them in a way that they can overstand. Stop talking down to them. Stop criticizing everything they do. And start assuming the worst of them because you was young too. Too many times we dwell on the past of things and we assume because it smelled like it, looked like it gotta be it. Not understanding that most of us forget our trials and tribulations until we are in certain crisis. And understand our children are in crisis. They don't have no sense of direction. And I can say this, not everyone. But when I'm saying no sense of direction is that right now, everything is being glamorized. Prostitution, glamorized. Gunplay, glamorized. Being homeless, glamorized. Use of drugs, glamorized. Everything is being glamorized. But the truth is looked at so much so it's like a vomit on the ground. They tell you vague truth and the rest of it is a lie. We got to do better by our children. But most importantly, we have to do better by ourselves. As men, as fathers, we have to look in ourselves and be truthfully and utterly honest. Am I moody? Am I always tired? Am I not sleeping enough? Do I start something and not finish it? Do I long for something and do nothing to pursue it? Am I playing video games and have no job? Or am I working at a job that I'm so sick and tired of that I wish it would just blow up? Not with just me in there, of course. That's how ignorant that is. Am I sleeping and I'm waking up in a pool of sweat? Am I having nightmares? Am I feel like I'm not living my own life? I'm just existing. It may sound like I'm screaming for suicide or depression, but these are real questions. What is your aim? What do you want? Because if it's living back carelessly through your children, that's not a life. If you're just smoking weed and drinking and partying all day, and you're a 50-year-old man, they keep partying like an 18-year-old, that's sad, despicable, and a waste of time. You are a waste man. You are a waste of man. But to my fathers who are doing anything large up and big up every time, respect due to you. Loving yourself is something you do every day. It's a practice. It's a ritual, whatever you want to call it. About last year is something that I like to, mantra, repeat. Practice new things. Make it a habit, a healthy habit, so you can get yourself in order. Find your purpose. And your purpose is not simply just to live, but to live and to teach someone else how to do it. To teach someone else how to do it and teach someone else what to do with it. Giving them purpose, an aim, ambition. Motivating them to do better. Not just for you, but to do better than they have been taught. Not teach this Lazarus pit mindset of everybody going to suffer and struggle and think they are in paradise until they wake up and realize they're not in paradise. They realize they were suffering all this time, giving themselves willfully to them demons who tear them apart daily. As men, we must be visionary. We must use our ability to see forth things, to see things ahead of time. As men and as fathers, we must be protectors not only of our families, but of ourselves. We must guard ourselves. And how do you guard yourselves? Because you can't guard yourself by simply playing and wishing upon things and sitting down and waiting for it to happen. That's not guarding. That's an open invitation for many dark spirits and many things to take place. About last year's is focus on being appreciative, showing proper gratitude. And I mean this on a daily basis before you wake up for the day, before you go to rest for the night. Giving gratitude, showing proper respect and love for the Creator in you. Cherish your family, cherish your children, cherish yourself. Have some worthiness of you. Stop chasing the ever-changing time of the hanging with the Jones and the constant trends, which means nothing. Because if you don't have a life, how are you trending? If you're not eating, how are you trending? But I look good. We got too much of people dying, but they look good. They got the name brand. They got they're styling, they're drinking every night, they're clubbing. They have different man and woman, whatever the case may be. They're living the life. And although we know it's not a reality, we still want to follow it blindly. About last year, I have learned great deals of lessons of gratitude, a great deal of lessons of what it means to practice what you preach. I've learned a great deal of following what is true versus what I want it to be. Sometimes it hurts because, again, I have to go through that fire. And other times it's simply just to learn the lesson that I can do better next time. Sometimes the pains we go through and the torments we go through, we think it is the most wickedest thing, but it hardens and protects us for the next round. How is you supposed to protect yourself if you don't know or go through it? How we are protecting our children if we're not even protecting our minds and our hearts? We're not protecting our spirit. We're not guarding our emotions in a healthy way, of course. Fathers, we have to do better than simply man up, be hard. We have to take charge of us. We have to center our emotions. We have to clear our thinking. We have to speak in life. And we must feel life because life is for the living. Life is for the living. We must remember this and we must focus on this. We must instill in our children love and understanding. We must instill in them the experience which we experience, that they may do better than us. This is not a competition. My fathering is not your fathering. My advice is not your advice. However, guidance is guidance. Knowledge is meant to be shared. Experience is meant to be helpful because it's a harsh teacher. Wisdom is what we are born with. We increase every day with it. Awareness helps overstand the wisdom, but it does not take its place. We must be men of the time, not the time of the man. We must be men of the time. That means we must adapt. We must be capable of functioning in the ever-changing world. We live in a system that does not fulfill you to be happy. It doesn't fulfill us at all because we're still trying to chase a living or lifestyle that is not of our own. That is not happiness. If you're not happy with what you're doing, if you're not fulfilled, satisfied, that you're not happy, be truthful with that. Be truthful with that. You're not happy, but what are you going to do about it? That's the other thing. What are you going to do about not being happy? Because no one on earth can make you happy. No one can make you happy. Only you can make yourself happy. Because you know what makes you sad. You can try new things. You can explore. You can teach yourself to practice what you want. I myself had to learn how to be diverse in my thinking, to take the tragedies and the traumas that I've endured and turn them into energy of positivity and motivation. We have too much death, too much sorrow, too much hopelessness. Last year, a lot of things were revealed. A lot of things is meant to stir you, derail you through the emotional realms and frustration to the mental and the physical and financial aspect of things that can constantly beat you down, and the worries of what if. But let me remind you, my brothers, have faith in yourself, have faith in the Creator, and you will never have to worry about anything else again. Believe in your abilities to make ends meet, to strive. Lower your pride and lower the ego, that you may do better next time around or even in the round. Don't make this a defeating factor, because that's not what it is. And don't make this all about you when it's not. As an adult, we must learn to make certain sacrifice that is beneficial, not harmful, but beneficial for you and your loved one, meaning your child, your family. We must be mindful of our actions, because what we do now trickles down and catches up, because what you do in the dark comes to light. And understand you can do all that you want to do, and I mean you can do all that you want to do, but not as long as you want. So you have to be mindful of everything you do and how you go about doing it. I know it's late, it's been a long day today. But again, about last year, are you still practicing the same thing? Are you still doing the same thing, expecting different results? Are you still beating your child, cussing at them like a dog versus talking to them and giving them guidance, showing some type of affection, some type of emotional response in a way that is intelligent? Are you losing patience because you feel like you're repeating yourself all the time and you're telling them the same thing and they just keep doing the same thing? What I want to tell you about the repeating thing, as a parent, from one parent to another, from one father to another, that comes with the job. Repeated lessons, repeated listening, repeated speaking, repeated everything comes with the territory. If you want them to know what you are talking about, understand is your one voice against 1,000 others. And you have to instill in them from young what you want from them, what obedience, what direction, what guidance you are giving, and you will get that in return. But if you are hard-headed, stubborn, procrastinating, well, it is what it is. About last year, are you still doing the same thing now, even as we speak right now? Are you still watching TV late night? Are you still getting up midday? Are you doing things and living and getting up with no purpose and aim in life? Are you in good health? Are you seeking the proper attention that you need so that you can live a healthier life? Are you eating right? Do you find yourself drinking too much? Are you smoking religiously as if this is going to cure your problems? Do you find yourself hanging around people because you don't want to be left with yourself and your own thoughts? If you find these things and you find these things to be true to you, I advise you to go seek help. I advise you to seek that counsel, even if it's with your brother. And of course, you know the difference between someone forcing you off the cliff or drowning in that water. You kind of know, because they kind of get of a yes man. They kind of laugh at what you're doing with it. They're not taking it seriously. They're kind of making joke of it. Or they make you feel shame that you even mention it. That should be indicated to you. They are not for you. They're not there for you. Because all you can do is knock me down. Me being down, you're not there for me, man. I am but a pawn in your universe, your reality, melted ice on the stove. I am nothing to you. I am expendable. But if you feel like you have these symptoms, you feel like you feel this way, speak to your brothers. Be amongst other brothers or sisters, whichever your preference. But speak. Let it out. Do something about it. Plan something. You are worthy of love, and you're worthy of being a father. And I know a lot of situations out here are dire. You got a lot of mothers out here holding their sons against you, holding your daughters against you. You have daughters and sons holding their grandchildren away from you. It hurts. I get it. It hurts. But life goes on. And you don't want to be at the bottom trying to explain why things happen, because there's one thing when I have to look up to you. It's another thing when I have to look down to you. When I have to look down, and even though you're talking truth, and I'm down here, and I got to look up to you to talk, do you really respect me? You're not going to respect me. You're not even going to take me serious unless I bust your kneecaps and put you to my level. You're not going to take it serious. Practice what you preach. Speak life. Speak mindfulness. Seek within who you are, what you are. Know who you are. There's a lot of us out here just like zombies, literally, just existing. We have to do better. We have to live our lives with purpose. We have to do things on purpose. So if you fall, you had a plan how to get up. So it's purposely done. Not to say to hurt yourself, but it's purposely done because you need to learn the lesson. Stop taking everything for so damn seriously, and you know, everything is a victim talk. Oh, it's this fault or that fault. Listen, I have something my grandma used to tell me all the time, and it's so true. It's a true fact. If you wasn't there, your name couldn't call. If you didn't have this girl or whoever you're dealing with, and you didn't do anything to protect yourself, or even had that question, or even the communication, the conversation about who and what you expect and what you are and what you want, and anything happens after that, the thing is in the air. What you put out is what you get. If you met this person and all they did is talk about them, that should be something that to look into. If I met this person, all they can do is dog the next person from the past, and that's a conversation. Again, flag should be warning, should be up there like, are you still carrying that torch from the last time? If I'm dealing with my children and all I can do is talk to them in anger and I'm ripping them and no one, again, flags. You are more than angry for a situation that didn't require such an energy. If you find yourself down, swinging moves, and then you still want, and that swinging moves, you get a mad at thinking that, you know what, I think I can fly off this roof today. Again, warning flags. Seek help. Stop suffering alone and licking your wounds in the corner. Stop sulking and having pride. You can't be wrong and strong. My brothers.
Hey, if you're enjoying this episode, check out the Healthy Illness Podcast with me, Kelly Marie, as we build healthy relationships while living with mental health conditions. I'm diagnosed and live with borderline personality disorder, major depression, and generalized anxiety. And despite those diagnoses, I've been able to live a full life. I have healthy relationships, a great career, and my mission is to help you do the same. So join me for Healthy Illness Podcast. New episodes every Monday on the Jazzcast Pros Network, found on the podcast player you're listening to right now. Be the light.
Let's help each other. Let's get out and help. Leave a comment. Email me, fathertorch.com. Let me know what you think of this episode. And I think it may sound like a rant, but believe it or not, it's the truth. It's only the 10th of this month, I believe. And already we have so much repeating last year. Again, about last year. We have way too many repeated offenders. We have our young dying because they think that's what they need to do, because this is the definition of being a man. Let's do better. Let 2023 be better. Let us do things on purpose. Let's motivate. Let's be all that we can be. Let us have a movement of men doing the righteous works. Thank you again for being with me. Catch me next time on another episode of Famous Kelly and we're going to do a duet. So again, be mindful. Practice what you preach, what you speak, which is life. Do it on purpose. Do it on purpose. I'm your host, Rob. Be mindful of you. Love yourself, love your children, and always give thanks. Guidance. Father Torch out. guidance.